Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have a card tutorial for you and we're going to make this fun friendship card with this adorable little squirrel. And today I'm using some stamps from the Stampin' Up! Fable Friends set. Sorry for my overhead lighting. And this has got the cutest little spring animals. There's a bunny and a mama duck with some babies and the squirrel that we're going to use today and some really great sentiments and some grass. I love this set. I think it's so adorable. So I'm very happy to see that plaids and ginghams are really popular and trendy right now because I really like them. And this really pretty gingham gala papers from Stampin' Up! Has some really great spring colors that I think go really well with this stamp set. And one of the things that I like the most is that it's double-sided. So on one side is a larger gingham and on the other side is a smaller in the same color. So I really like that. I'm also going to be using some stitched shape dies. I'm going to be using some rectangles and some circle dies. So I've got the largest stitch circle die. From the stitched rectangle dies, I'm also using the largest of those. And then the one that measures 3 by 3/4 by 1 3/4. And then the smaller skinny one for the sentiment that's 2.5 by 3/4 of an inch. I've got a piece of blue cardstock, just 8.5 by 11 that I've cut, scored, and folded in half. And then a piece of the yellow and a piece of the blue gingham paper. And I've also have some white cardstock to stamp on. So to start off with, I'm going to die cut my gingham papers. I'm going to take the larger of the stitched rectangle dies and I've got it on the larger square of gingham of yellow. And then on the other rectangle, I'm going to put that on the smaller blue. I'm going to go ahead and tape these in place with a little bit of repositionable tape just to make sure that my gingham stays straight. And then I'm going to run these through my die cut machine. Now that I have these die cut out, I wanted to point out one of the really nice things on these stitched rectangle dies is that it's kind of an inside-outside die. I hope you can see that on camera. So on the piece that I'm going to be using, there's a stitch around the edge, but also on the opening here. So I can save this for another project and put something behind it and still have that nice stitched line behind. Next, I'm going to do some stamping on my white cardstock. I'm going to ink up the Fable Friends with the Stampin' Up! Balmy Blue ink. And I want to make sure I leave enough room so that I can die cut the words out. So I'm just going to line that up. Tape that in place. And now I'm also going to die cut the stitch circle at the same time. So I'm going to set my words off to the side. And on the circle that I've die cut, I'm going to stamp my little squirrel using black memento ink because I'm going to be using alcohol-based markers. And I'm going to stamp him just a little to the left. So here's my squirrel. So next I've brought over a scratch piece of paper and some Soft Saffron ink, and I'm going to be using a blending brush, and I have a video that goes over these in a little bit more detail. I'll link that down below in the description box. And I'm just going to lightly make a swirling motion onto my paper towards my circle and just add a little bit of inking on the edge of that stitch circle. So I've just gone all the way around and added that nice soft yellow to the edge of the circle. Next I want to add some color to my squirrel, so I'm going to be using the Stampin' Blends markers and I'm using light crumb cake, and I'm going to color in the entire body and tail of my little squirrel except for the inside of the ear and just kind of the tip of his nose. I'm just going to fill all that in with the light color. So now that I have all the light color down, I'm going to add in just a little bit of the darker color for some shade and shadow. So I'm going to go around the edge of his tail with the darker color, and I'm also just going to make just some little hash marks, just quick and easy, just some little dashes to give some texture to his tail. And now I'm going to go back over with a lighter shade and just kind of blend those together. So now that I've blended in the body, I'm going to go over the edges of the tail with a lighter color. Now I'm going to take a blender. It really doesn't blend the markers so much as lift off the color. I'm using one from Spectrum Noir, but Stampin' Up! Does have their own, as do many companies that make alcohol-based markers. And what this is going to do is just give me some lighter sections in the tail. I can also go back in with some darker, and that just gives a really nice little fuzzy texture to my little squirrel's tail. And just to finish him off on the end of his nose and the inside of his ear, I'm just going to add a little bit of dark pink pirouette marker. And then with the same dark crumb cake that we did his body, I'm going to fill in the center of the daisy. Now using light old olive, I'm going to color in the leaf and the stem of the flower. And I'm going to add a little bit of shading with the darker color and then kind of blend those two together. Next for the flower, I'm going to take light Daffodil Delight. I'm going to color in the petals. And then I'm going to take the darker and just add a little bit more dimension to those petals. For his cute little sailor outfit, I'm using Dark Pool Party, and I'm just avoiding the collar of his little sailor outfit and the stripe on the cuff, and then I'm going to do just the teeny top of the hat. If you happen to color inside where you would like it to be white, you could use a white gel pen. I've got a Unosignaball here, and you could kind of go over those areas because it is so tiny. It's really easy to kind of go over into where you want it to be white, and that'll just make it nice and bright white. Now I'm ready to start assembling my card. On the back of the blue gingham, I'm just going to use some tape runner and just adhere that off to the left, but kind of centered up and down. And then I'm going to lay my little squirrel piece in the lower right hand corner, and I want just a little bit of the bottom and the right edge to kind of hang off. I've got foam tape on the back here. And then I also have some foam tape on the words, and I'm going to apply that as well. Now I'm going to take my scissors and turn this piece over and just very carefully trim away the little bits of the circle that are hanging off the edge. So just carefully follow the line of the paper. And real quick, I realized I accidentally forgot to give my little squirrel a shadow, just so it doesn't look like he's completely floating out in space there. Just give him a little bit of shadow underneath. Now I'm going to apply some regular adhesive to the back of the yellow gingham and center that on the front of my card. And lastly, to kind of finish it off, I have some tiny little white pearls, and I'm just going to scatter those around, one near the words and a few around the squirrel and the base of the card. And with those pearls down, here's our finished card. I think it's a really cute and easy card, very sweet to send to a friend, be great for a birthday or a thank you. And I really love the trendy gingham, and this little squirrel is so adorable. So I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to check out my channel. I have lots of other card tutorials and product reviews for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Heather. Bye.